Assalamualaikum to Sir Rahezal. My name is Shariza, so I'm going to present the introduction of contribution of Tun Abdul Razak. Today we honor Tun Abdul Razak bin Hussein, Malaysia visionary second Prime Minister 1970 till 1976. His leadership was pivotal in shaping the nation's economic and social development during a time of rapid change. Let's explore his major contribution in three key areas. So the first one, the new economic policy, NEP, creating equity. Tun Razak's new economic policy aimed to reduce wealth disparities and uplift marginalized Bumiputra communities. Affirmative action programs in education, employment, and business opportunities foster a more equitable society. Next, empowering rural development and industrialization. Emphasizing balanced growth, Tun Razak focused on rural development and infrastructure. The Federal Land Development Authority, FELDA, empowered farmers while attracting foreign investment fuel industrialization. And the last one, fostering national unity through Rukun Negara. Tun Razak vision for national unity lead to the principles of Rukun Negara, loyalty to the nation, respect for cultural diversity, and adherence to the rule of law unite Malaysians as one. In conclusion, Tun Abdul Razak bin Hussein transformative leadership shaped Malaysia's trajectory. The NEP promoted equity, rural development, spurred growth, and Rukun Negara foster unity. Let us honor his legacy by building a prosperous, harmonious Malaysia for all. Thank you.
Tunku Abdul Razak noticed the inequality economy exists among the ethnics in Malaysia, where there is Malay, India, and Chinese. The Malays having limited opportunities in terms of businesses, in the fact that in Malaysia, Malays are the most dominant population in Malaysia in that time. The new economic policy he introduced was focused to eradicate this issue while improving the social harmony in Malaysia. Other than that, his contribution on industrial, he urged his government to promote foreign country to invest more in Malaysia by making own materials for export purposes, thus making Malaysia independent on importing raw materials. Tun Abdul Razak noticed on how important agriculture in Asia, especially in Malaysia. Malaysia, already known for its rubber and oil palm farming, so he introduced the Green Book policy, which aimed to modernizing the agriculture, thus increases the productivity of food crops. These initiatives improve the farming techniques among all farmers, thus create more job opportunities. Other than that, he also contributed on infrastructure development in Malaysia. On critical infrastructure project, he also helped on rural infrastructure development by providing basic infrastructure such as road, clean water supply, school, and healthcare facilities. In his second Malaysia plan, he proposed some of the projects such as KLIA, more hydroelectric dam development to support the peninsula, Sabah, and Sarawak, and the one noticeable project he managed to finish during his premiership was the Penang Bridge that connects between Penang and Kedah.
Tun Abdul Razak had gave a lot of contribution during his time as Prime Minister, and one of his contribution is in terms of social. In terms of social, he had emphasized the national unity and culture integration. So Tun Abdul Razak recognized the importance of fostering a sense of identity among Malaysia's diverse ethnic groups. Thus, during his premiership, he introduced national culture policy that aimed to integrate various culture into one cohesive national culture by embracing uh, by embracing diversity and promoting national integration. The Tun Abdul Razak's policy able to strengthening the strengthening the social cohesion and laid the foundation for a united Malaysia. Second social contribution is the rural and Felda development. So Tun Abdul Razak placed a high priority on rural development by reducing the gap between rural and urban areas uh, through improving the standard of living among these rural communities. So during his time as Prime Minister, Tun Abdul Razak established Federal Land Development Authority or FELDA only to reducing poverty among rural Malays and native people by relocating them to a new land and provide them with agricultural opportunities. So by granting this land ownership and facilitate skills in agricultural field, Felda able to empower rural Malays and native people and raise their socio-economic status as well as contribute to the overall development of rural areas. Felda establishment or the existence of Felda is not just to alleviate poverty among rural Malays and native people, but it also promoting inclusive growth throughout the nation. Third contribution is education and national development. Tun Abdul Razak implement reforms that ensure that all Malaysians had equal access to education. This led to the introduction of Education Act 1971 that made education free and mandatory, also providing opportunities to many individuals. Additionally, the national education policy also emphasized the use of Malay language as a medium of instructions that enable government to promoting national unity and fostering a shared identity. So these reforms laid the foundation for an educated society and equip Malaysians with necessary skills for national development. Fourth social contribution is infrastructure development and economic growth. So Tun Abdul Razak saw the significance of strong infrastructure for economic and social progress in line with his vision of advancement. During his premiership, Malaysia had witnessed mass construction projects such as North-South Highway and East Coast Highway that improved connectivity and facilitated logistic and human movement, as well as stimulated economic activity throughout the country. So by that, I end my presentation and give next presenter to point out his points. Thank you.
Tun Abdul Razak's introduction of the new economic policy was a significant and necessary step in addressing the economic inequality among different ethnic groups in Malaysia. By promoting greater participation and ownership among Malays in various sectors, the NEP sought to create a more inclusive and balanced economic landscape. The establishment of MARA to support Bumiputra business further reinforced this goal. While the NEP was successful in creating opportunities for the Malays, it is also led to debates about affirmative action and its long-term impact on the country's economic competitiveness. Emphasizing industrialization and export-oriented growth was a crucial strategy for Malaysia's economic development during the era. By attracting foreign direct investment and encouraging multinational corporations to invest in the country, Malaysia was able to stimulate industrial growth and create job opportunities. However, it is also brought challenge in terms of environmental concern, labor rights, and the potential risk of over-reliance on multinational corporations. Next, recognizing the importance of agriculture, especially commercial rubber and oil palm farming, Tun Abdul Razak government implement various agricultural development programs. This initiative aim at modernizing agriculture, increasing productivity, and reducing poverty in rural areas. The efforts to process raw materials for export help Malaysia reduce its dependence on imports and strengthen its position in the global markets. Prioritizing infrastructure development was an essential aspect of Tun Abdul Razak economic policies. Investing in highway, ports, airport, and other critical projects helped improve transportation links and facilitated economic activities across the country. Infrastructure development also played a vital role in enhancing the living standards of people in remote areas, promoting social inclusivity, and supporting economic growth. However, infrastructure development projects also face concerns related to budget allocation, environmental impact, and ensuring equitable distribution of the benefits across the regions.
Good day to Sarah Hazel and my fellow classmates. So today I will be discussing about Tun Abdul Razak's impact profound social contributions during his premiership in Malaysia. The first one was the national unity and cultural integration, which is Tun Abdul Razak emphasized national unity through the national culture policy. It nurtured a shared Malaysian identity, reducing ethnic tensions and strengthening social cohesion. Malaysians also identified more strongly as one nation, creating a foundation for a harmonious and inclusive society. Moving on to the rural development and FELDA. Prioritizing rural development, Tun Abdul Razak established FELDA to eradicate poverty among rural Malays. It empowered them economically and socially through land ownership and agriculture opportunities, reducing the rural-urban divide and promoting balanced development. Next, we'll be moving on to education and reform. Significant education reforms were implemented, making education compulsory and free for all Malaysian children, emphasizing the Malay language as the teaching medium, promoted national unity, and access to formal education for personal and professional growth. Last but not least was the infrastructure development. Tun Abdul Razak's focus on infrastructure led to key projects such like the North-South and East Coast highways. It has improved connectivity and stimulated economic activities. It also attracted investment and created job opportunities, also enhancing Malaysian standard of living. So, in conclusion, Tun Abdul Razak's social contribution has shaped Malaysia's progress. His commitment to national unity, rural development, education, and infrastructure laid the groundwork for an inclusive and cohesive society. Let us honor this legacy and work towards a united and prosperous Malaysia. Thank you for your attention.
In conclusion, Tun Abdul Razak bin Hussein's transformative leadership as Malaysia's second Prime Minister left an indelible mark on the nation's economic and social development. During his premiership from 1970 to 1976, he tackled deep-seated challenges, fostering economic growth and promoting social harmony in a young, diverse nation grappling with racial tension and regional disparities. Tun Razak's introduction of the new economic policy (NEP) in 1971 was a defining moment in Malaysia history. The NEP aimed to address wealth disparities among ethnic communities and promote equitable economic participation, creating a more just and inclusive society. Recognizing the importance of balanced development, Tun Razak emphasized rural development and infrastructure projects. The establishment of the Federal Land Development Authority, FELDA, empowered rural farmers, uplifted rural communities, and laid the foundation for economic prosperity. Beyond his economic reforms, Tun Abdul Razak's visionary advocacy for social harmony and nation unity was exemplified through the principles of Rukun Negara. These principles foster a shared identity among Malaysia's diverse ethnic communities, promoting a strong sense of unity that transcends differences. In conclusion, Tun Abdul Razak bin Hussein's leadership shaped Malaysia's socio-economic landscape, inspiring progress, inclusivity, and a shared vision of harmonious and prosperous Malaysia for all. His legacy continues to guide our nation towards economic growth, social cohesion, and national unity. Thank you.